Yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self.
Yes, exactly. If you could introduce yourself for us, your name and what you do.
My name is Priscilla. I am a yoga instructor. I recently started a yoga program in Pomona, serving the community.
And talk to me about how you got introduced to yoga.
I was introduced to yoga when I was in middle school. I was at the local library. I'm a bookworm. And I came across a yoga book, went home, and I started to do all the poses. And I felt amazing at the end, something I had never felt before. I think I was meditating. It was like very, very peaceful, happy state of mind. And after that, it was just kept popping up in my life throughout the years, off and on, off and on.
And do you think that you would have appreciated yoga if it was taught like at your middle school or even younger?
Definitely. I mean, yoga brings self-awareness, enhances self-esteem. It connects you to your emotions on a deeper level, and it gives you more of a sense of self. I think all kids would benefit, especially in today's society, in today's world.
Sure. Do your kids do yoga as well?
Yeah, actually, my daughter, she's attended a performing arts school since kindergarten, so they do yoga once a week.
Wow.
And then with me.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it must be nice. And so you're the founder of what I understand is a non-profit yoga studio.
Yeah,
here.
we're working on going non-profit right now.
Okay.
And it's called The Missing Piece Yoga. Piece as in P-E-A-C-E.
Yes.
Yeah, and basically we just really want to trigger the youth. Like maybe bring it into the school systems, like high schools, middle schools, maybe focusing more on at-risk youth. Because it's a great coping mechanism, positive outlet, you know.
Definitely. And you got your BA from UC Riverside, correct, in psychology? And you had mentioned that you had a particular interest in the mind-body connection, which you've kind of touched on. What inspired you to get this degree to discover? What were you looking for?
I'm just a people person.
Okay.
And I'm so fascinated by the brain. My first interest was neuroscience. And then, I mean, neuro and psychology are very, very linked together. But I do love more of the consciousness part of the mind that the neuroscience doesn't really cover. Neuroscience is just more biological. So I think that my psychology and my yoga just kind of fell together without me even realizing it.
Sure.
It just happened.
Are you planning on continuing your education?
Definitely.
Okay. In psychology?
Yes.
Okay.
I was actually looking into the Claremont University, the positive psychology program.
Nice. And what is your goal with that? Are you attempting to get a master's?
I would love to go for a PhD.
Okay.
If for some reason that's not possible, then first master's and eventually. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your goal with that degree? Do you hope that will better enable you to be able to instill yoga in schools and stuff, like in the education
and
system?
not just necessarily yoga, but even more so, just more of outreach programs. I think the more knowledge you have, and the higher up there you are with your education, the more possibilities, or maybe not necessarily possibilities, but the more it facilitates what you can do and how far you can reach and who you can connect with.
Yeah, connections.
Yeah.
That would make a lot
So
of sense.
I would love to go as far as I can.
Continued study of yoga has enabled you to love and accept yourself, and I think those are some key words that we like to talk about when we discuss youth and mental health. So do you have any kind of experiences of maybe in your youth that you experienced mental health problems, of self-acceptance problems and stuff like that you'd be willing to share?
Yes, definitely. I mean, growing up, middle school actually was a bit tough for me. I think it's tough for a lot of kids. You're just in that transition. You're no longer a little child, but you're not a teenager yet. So you're like caught up in this little bubble of figuring out who you are, trying to fit in, and a lot of kids don't have the proper, guidance, and you end up making a lot of foolish mistakes along the way.
Sure.
And we live in a society who's constantly teaching us to seek outside of us. We want to look like the girls in the magazines. I mean, every little girl has self-esteem issues nowadays. So I feel like I knew who I was, but I didn't, even throughout my high school years and after high school. I mean, my core, I knew who I was, but I was always trying to fit in or live up to all these other standards.
Yeah.
So never really connecting to who I was within. And I think that my yoga and just the more, it's not just yoga itself, but it's just that time within myself to introspect and reflect and meditate, that I've gotten to know who I am and I'm able to honor that and be true to it and not try to chase these empty, false,
unattainable.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Ideas of what happiness is and what beauty is, and
So it sounded like yoga came to you at a good time in your life. Like you said, you found this yoga book in middle school. It sounded like you were searching for something and it found you in a way, which is nice. And what are some other benefits that you've gleaned from yoga when it comes to mental health, or maybe not even mental, but physical health?
Well, when you're practicing yoga, you learn to breathe through difficult poses. Breathing is a huge thing. And without you even realizing it, you carry that off the mat. When you're dealing with a difficult situation, a difficult moment, you just start to breathe through it, and it's okay. It's not so stressful. It's not the end of the world. It helps you deal with things a lot better.
I wouldn't have thought of that initially. Yeah. So other than yoga, what do you think are ways that you would like to help you through struggles and stuff that you see?
Living by example. Like, we are all each other's responsibility, but we don't really practice that. We don't really live that way. Like right now, I'm working on a project that is, I'm trying to raise money to fund running water to these local communities and a health center. And it's all for the indigenous people of Mexico. They're known as the Tarahumara or Raramuri people. So doing stuff like that, where you're reaching out, getting the community involved, bringing awareness, and just being that example, and just reminding people that we all live in this world, and we're all sharing it, and we should take care of each other.
Yeah.
And if you don't nurture yourself and love yourself, and you're not going to be able to do that for other people. And even just that alone time within yourself for introspection. I mean, we live in such a chaotic world. Kids are always on video games. I mean, entertainment, that there is no alone time within yourself to really reflect and grow. And any time that you're faced with a difficult moment that causes some type of uncomfortable feeling, we run from it. There's a lot of bad habits that are born from that. Just anything to get your mind and your emotions off of it. But what we fail to understand is that if we were to just stick to that feeling and live it through, the growth happens right after. It's like pain gives birth to growth.
Yeah.
You have to live through it. You have to be there, breathe through it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
So I think just by getting involved in as many projects as I could possibly get my hands on, and just hopefully inspiring people along the way.
If you were to be considered a Pathfinder, what would you consider yourself a Pathfinder of?
When you connect with that true authentic self, you connect with everyone around you.
Sure.
So that love that you feel for you feel for everyone and everything.
So it sounds like authenticity, but sort of the connectedness.
Or almost even like self-discovery too, like the process is just as important.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess that would be
Okay. All right.
Connection with all living.
Yeah.
Well, as a follow-up question, then, do you talk about self-acceptance and you talk about love and that sort of self-love being able to emulate to how you love others? Do you think that it is a state that you can be at, like you can achieve, or do you consider it an ongoing process?
I think it will always be an ongoing process.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Because every day you're in you I'm not the same person I was yesterday or the day before. I'm always growing. Even when you think like, yes, I got it,
Yeah.
and the next day you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm back here.
Yeah.
It's just an endless journey. I was just thinking or talking to somebody. It's an endless journey through the self to the self. You never get to this point where I know it all. I found the end. It's just endless, wonderful journey.
Yeah. Okay. I really like that phrase of journey through the self to the self. I feel like I'm pretty sure I've read that quote recently. I'm pretty sure I'm quoting
It's
something.
from the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, yeah.